Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Super Cheese video. And in today's video, we are going to be covering the new time-running Mists of Pandaria content coming out in 10.2.7. I gave it a trial run on the PTR. I wanted to see what it was all about. What type of player would this type of content attract? Would it be fitting for me? And overall, what do I think about it after trying it for a couple of hours moving through? So my first initial impression of this event is that it is very much so like an action RPG. So if you are somebody who likes Diablo or Path of Exile, it's definitely going to be up your alley. And what I mean by that is that you are just constantly bombarded with power-ups. Like quite literally, it's going to be giving you like +1 haste, +1 crit, +1 health, like for doing anything. You could be picking flowers out of the dirt. It really doesn't matter. It's going to give you a stat boost of some kind as you're moving through this. Also, the leveling is very much so accelerated, so much so that if you're a new player to WoW, you may be a bit overwhelmed at the number of abilities that the game throws your way. You're starting off at level 10, and I had almost an entire action bar, maybe 2 action bars full of abilities just by logging in and then advancing through the talent trees. So it's not going to be holding your hand or taking you slow if you are a new player to the game. If you're somebody who's played retail and you're playing a class that you know and understand, it's really not going to be too big of a deal, I don't think. This is very much so more for someone who's coming back to World of Warcraft after a long time, or somebody who hasn't played retail to begin with in the very first place. One criticism that I did have of it moving forward is that it's going to be giving you a lot of these gems, and there's like 3 different socket types. It's like a meta gem, a cogwheel gem, some other type of gem. There are so many of them that I can't even remember all the different types of sockets that you get, and it just throws a ton of this stuff in your inventory the whole time that you're questing through, and it just becomes really overwhelming. I'm just staring at my bags and I'm like, okay, I just got like 5 armor pieces and like 3 of these gems that you can then click to combine, and then gotta find the matching socket on a piece of gear for that specific gem of this random power up. And then when you get a gear upgrade, you got to take off the old piece and then unsocket it and then resocket the new piece. There's a lot of stuff that you have to go through in terms of inventory management that honestly, like right off the rip, is very overwhelming. It's going to throw a lot of stuff in your bags, like consumables. Some of them are nice, there's passive, they automatically activate, and other ones are going to stay in your bag for a while that you're likely going to want to use while you're questing through. Dungeons felt like by far the best way to level in terms of overall experience. They were very smooth, although some of them ended up being very challenging. Mechanics that I didn't expect to do a lot of damage actually did do a lot of damage and actually wiped my group, which has not happened to me, in a leveling experience on retail in quite some time. As you are questing through the zone, you are going to be collecting currencies, the main currency being bronze. So if you're somebody who just likes to grind, collect currency, work on farming out mounts, farming out collectibles, I think that this is going to be great content for you in terms of kind of like staggering your way into the war within. I think it's exactly perfect for you, honestly. If you're somebody who's just in that grindy nature, really likes powering up the character, likes farming a lot of currency and reputation type of deal in order to unlock mounts and toys and of the sort. Now, I'm very curious to see what it's like because I only played it for a few hours. When you get to the higher levels and you're actually able to access some of the raids, I spent some time watching some streams and it looked pretty interesting. I wasn't sure what to expect in terms of difficulty, if it was going to be kind of like a raid finder or if it was going to be like heroic raid as it was. In terms of difficulty, that is one feature that I am looking forward to seeing, like how challenging are the raids actually. And also more so for myself is world PvP. How is the world PvP like? Because there isn't any battlegrounds or arenas, it seems, at this time, but there is going to be a war mode. At least it says there's war mode at level 20. I didn't get to level 20. I think I stopped at level 18. I'm curious to see if you can activate it or not, because if there's no world PvP as a main PvP player, I'm probably going to be not opting into it personally. Now, if there is world PvP, it could be really cool because it's going to give you a lot of random power-ups that that don't really exist in any other parts of the game. My mage, while leveling up, I think I got Heroic Leap from Warriors. I got some sort of like raid-wide Innervate that makes all of the group's spells free, and like all these abilities just seemed really random. So it could honestly be really cool to get into some world PvP duels with this weird wacky stuff in the Mists of Pandaria landscape. So I am really hoping there is at least war mode if there are not arenas or battlegrounds, and those are kind of my main concerns. But if you're somebody who likes ARPGs, if you liked the Mists of Pandaria landscape, the story is really dark, by the way. I only did like some of the introductory quests, but some of those quests, man, like I'm surprised that the Pandaren actually ended up siding with the Horde, because the Horde actually took panda children and, like, you know, enslaved them and got them working for them, and then we gunned down some unarmed alliance or unarmed horde trying to swim onto the beaches. Like, it looked really dark and rough. It was a far takeaway from the usual storytelling of kind of like a PBS network on retail World of Warcraft, where we're all friends and we're all buddies. It was a very dark experience. So those were just my initial thoughts moving into this. Wanted to give you some quick insight of what you should expect and whether or not it's something that is going to be for you. Other than that, if you want to stay up to date with news related to World of Warcraft, then smash the subscribe button. Your support is greatly appreciated.